Hello and welcome to the CEO Blindspots show, where leaders lead leaders. I'm your host, Birgit Kamps, and today I wanted to talk about an AI prompt formula that has helped my clients save not only precious time, but also get much better results from using their AI tools. Some of you may have listened to my podcast back in October of 2023, where I revealed the Rhodes formula for prompting, but since then, I've actually gotten to overhear my daughter end all of her prompts with a question. So that is the last step I have added, and it has been priceless in terms of discovering blind spots in the prompting process. So I will now share each of the steps in the Rhodes prompting formula. And my hope is that it'll help you also save a lot of time and get better output from your AI prompts. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see what the letters stand for. And for those of you who are listening rather than watching me, I will also put a transcript of this episode in the show notes so you can access it that way. The letter R stands for role. In other words, tell the AI what kind of expert it needs to be. Do you want it to be a labor attorney, a McKinsey expert? You can actually even give it names if you want it to be like a Warren Buffett, for example. And then the next step is to define your desired outcome. So that's what the letter O stands for. O is for outcome. So, what kind of outcome do you want out of your interaction with AI? Do you want it to end up creating a SWOT table for you? Do you want it to analyze your competitors and give you a new product idea or a new service line idea? Make sure you think through ultimately what is the result that you're wanting. Then the next letter is A, and that stands for audience. It needs to know who's it presenting to be even more valuable. And a lot of people miss this step, but you can do it high level, like this is for investors or for my Gen Z team members. I often have told it, pretend like you're doing this presentation to a 10-year-old. So, for example, when I first started to learn about Bitcoin, that's how I learned about it. You can also get detailed, like this is for a group of people that are 50 to 60-year-olds. And it's also important to define the tone it should take. For example, do you want it to have a professional tone, a casual tone? Do you want it to be humorous and have a funny tone? All that is possible. And the more detailed you get, the better outcome you'll receive. Then the next one's the letter D, and that stands for display. And what that means is the information that it's going to give you, how do you want it to display it? Some people like paragraphs, other people like bullet points, many people like graphs and charts. So just make sure it knows in what format you would prefer to receive the information. And then the next step is the letter S, and that stands for sample. So in this case, you can either upload a sample competitor brochure or your own internal PowerPoint that you like, or you could ask it for samples. You can ask it to give you 3 case studies of competitors in your industry that have succeeded in their approach to selling their product. Or you could say, give me 3 examples of companies that have successfully integrated vision and mission and values into their culture. And so the Rhodes steps are already very valuable. But as I mentioned, thanks to my daughter, I added the question mark at the end of that formula, standing for question. So you could ask it, what is my blind spot in this assumption? Or what would you like to ask me so that you can help me better? That's the one that my daughter asks a lot. So now putting it all together, this Rhodes formula, what does it look like in one prompt? Again, I'll pull this up on my screen so that those of you who are watching this, you can do that via my YouTube channel or via my website or even Spotify. You'll see this and you'll see I have various prompts that pull it all together. And for those of you who are listening, again, I invite you to go to the show notes and I'll include the transcript there that'll have these prompts. But for this episode, I'll pick one prompt that pulls it all together. And in this case, I will say, I'll pick the prompt of analyzing 10K reports. So see if you can detect where the R.O.A.D.S formula comes in on this one. Act as a McKinsey senior financial analyst who specializes in evaluating publicly traded companies for institutional investors. I need you to review the attached 10K report and identify the top 5 potential risks and top 5 opportunities for this business, with specific attention to how the factors like interest rate changes, commodity price fluctuations, and macroeconomic conditions could impact their operations and profitability. This analysis is for our investment committee, who will decide whether to invest in or divest from this company. Please present your findings in a 2-column table format with risks on the left and opportunities on the right, with each item including a brief explanation and potential financial impact rating. Make it high, medium, or low. Model your analysis after how hedge fund analysts structure their investment memos when evaluating new positions. What specific sections of the 10K should I focus your attention on? And what additional context about our investment thesis or risk tolerance would help you provide the most relevant insights? So that is just one example. And again, if you look at the visual, I've actually added where the steps fit in. I've got others that have really helped save my clients a lot of time and that I invite you to test. One is on competitive positioning, where it says act as a strategic advisor to a private equity firm. And then it goes on with the rest of the prompt. Another one is creating visual guides. For example, if you have a manual and it has a lot of procedures and processes to it, you can ask it to create visuals along the way, which is how a lot of people like to absorb information these days. I also have a prompt regarding how to make a good decision, and I also have another one that can actually help you build a business tool to help your salespeople track things. So again, all those prompts will be in the show notes. Either way, I hope you will play with the R.O.A.D.S formula now and that you also will get 10 times better AI results by applying it. So thank you again for listening and for sharing the CEO Blindspots podcast.